There's a Latin phrase that changed my entire perspective on living: Memento Mori. Remember, you must die. Now, before you click away thinking this is depressing, hear me out. This ancient practice isn't about dwelling on death, it's about using mortality as a compass for authentic living. Because when you truly accept that your time is limited, something remarkable happens. You stop living other people's expectations and start living your truth. You stop postponing joy and start embracing it. You stop taking relationships for granted and start cherishing them. I'm fascinated by how ancient wisdom intersects with modern psychology, and Memento Mori is perhaps one of the most misunderstood yet powerful practices from Stoic philosophy. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they weren't morbid philosophers obsessed with death. They were practical thinkers who understood something profound, that awareness of mortality is the key to living fully. Modern psychology has caught up with what the Stoics knew 2,000 years ago. Research from existential positive psychology shows that when we courageously confront our mortality, we don't become depressed, we become more alive. We experience what researchers call post-traumatic growth, a heightened appreciation for life, deeper relationships, and a clearer sense of what truly matters. Let me share what happens in your brain when you practice Memento Mori. Psychologists call this mortality salience, the awareness that death is inevitable. Now, most people avoid this awareness at all costs. We distract ourselves, we deny it, we live as if we're immortal. But here's what's fascinating. When researchers expose people to gentle reminders of mortality in controlled settings, something beautiful happens. Studies show that people become more grateful, more generous, more focused on meaningful relationships. They stop sweating the small stuff and start investing in what actually matters. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how a close call, a health scare, or losing someone close to you suddenly makes everything crystal clear? That's mortality salience at work. The Stoics figured out how to access this clarity without waiting for tragedy to strike. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." He understood that death awareness isn't the enemy of life, it's life's greatest teacher. Here's where Memento Mori gets really practical. When you regularly contemplate the temporary nature of everything, your health, your relationships, even this moment right now, gratitude becomes automatic. I want you to try something. Think about someone you love. Now imagine this is the last conversation you'll ever have with them. How does that change how you want to spend that time? Suddenly, the petty arguments seem ridiculous. The need to be right evaporates. What remains is pure appreciation for their presence in your life. This isn't about living in fear, it's about living with intention. Research shows that people who practice mortality reflection report significantly higher levels of life satisfaction and meaning. They're not paralyzed by death awareness, they're liberated by it. If this perspective is shifting something in your thinking, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're finding value in exploring how ancient wisdom applies to modern life, consider subscribing. We dive deep into these transformative concepts every week. Memento Mori is the ultimate priority filter. When you truly internalize that your time is finite, you become ruthless about how you spend it, but in the best possible way. Steve Jobs, in his famous Stanford commencement speech, said, "Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose." This is pure Stoic wisdom applied to modern life. Think about your current worries. How many of them would matter if you knew you had 1 year left? 6 months? 1 week? This isn't about becoming reckless. It's about becoming intentional. It's about asking yourself, is this how I want to spend my irreplaceable time? The Stoics practiced what they called negative visualization, imagining loss to appreciate what you have. But Memento Mori goes deeper. It's not just about appreciating what you have, it's about choosing what deserves your attention in the first place. Here's something beautiful that happens when you embrace Memento Mori. Your relationships transform. When you truly understand that every interaction might be your last with someone, you show up differently. You listen more deeply, you forgive more quickly, you express love more freely. You stop waiting for the right moment to tell people how much they mean to you, because you realize that this moment, right now, might be all you have. Research in social psychology shows that mortality salience increases pro-social behavior. People become more empathetic, more generous, more connected to others. It's as if remembering our shared mortality reminds us of our shared humanity. The Stoics understood this. Seneca wrote letters to his friend Lucilius as if each might be his last. Marcus Aurelius treated his duties as emperor with the gravity of someone who knew his time was limited. They didn't become cold or distant, they became more present, more engaged, more alive. So how do you actually practice Memento Mori without becoming morbid or anxious? The Stoics gave us practical techniques that modern psychology has validated. First, there's the evening reflection. Before sleep, spend a few minutes contemplating the day as if it were your last. What would you have done differently? What are you grateful for? This isn't about regret. It's about learning and appreciation. Second, practice temporal distancing. When facing a problem, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years, in 1 year, in 1 month? This helps you distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. Third, use mortality as a decision filter. Before committing to something, ask, if I had limited time left, would this be how I'd choose to spend it? This simple question can transform your choices. The key is gentle, regular practice. Not obsessive dwelling, but mindful awareness. Like any skill, it gets easier and more natural with time. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, isn't this depressing? Won't thinking about death make me anxious or sad? Here's what the research shows. When practiced correctly, Memento Mori actually reduces anxiety about death. It's the avoidance of mortality that creates fear, not the acceptance of it. When you stop running from the reality of death, you stop being controlled by the fear of it. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. By mentally rehearsing loss, including the ultimate loss of life itself, you build psychological resilience. You become less fragile, not more. Think of it like this. If you've never thought about death, when it touches your life, through illness, loss, or aging, it's devastating. But if you've made peace with mortality, you're prepared. You can face life's challenges with equanimity because you've already accepted the ultimate challenge. Memento Mori isn't about becoming obsessed with death, it's about becoming obsessed with life. It's about using the awareness of our finite time to live more fully, love more deeply, and choose more wisely. The Stoics understood something we've forgotten in our death-denying culture. That mortality isn't the enemy of meaning, it's the source of it. Without endings, there would be no urgency to love, no pressure to grow, no reason to make our brief time here matter. So I challenge you, for the next week, practice gentle mortality awareness, not morbid obsession, but mindful acceptance. Notice how it changes your priorities, your relationships, your appreciation for simple moments. Because here's the paradox the Stoics discovered. When you truly accept that you will die, you finally begin to live. If this exploration of ancient wisdom and modern psychology resonates with you, there's so much more to discover about how Stoic practices can transform your daily life. The intersection of philosophy and psychology offers profound insights into living with greater purpose, resilience, and joy. If you're ready to continue your health transformation journey, click on the video I'm displaying right now. It reveals another crucial aspect of human optimization that could be the missing piece in your wellness puzzle, and the science-backed strategies that actually deliver results. Until next time, remember, your time is finite, and that makes it infinitely precious.